In this movie, a psycho girl with murderous anger management issue tries to blend in with regular people even after they killed her boyfriend, unaware she has military skills. The movie begins with Lindy approaching the restaurant where her date was waiting. She stood outside, watching him patiently. Nearby, a man was angrily insulting a valet because he couldn't find his keys. Lindy felt the urge to confront the man for his rude behavior, but she resisted. Instead, she pressed the red button on her wrist to shock herself, calming her impulses. She entered the restaurant to meet her date but explained that she couldn't stay because she wasn't feeling right. Her date tried to convince her by sharing stories of his worst dates. Despite this, Lindy expressed her frustration with people. She attempted to leave again when the waiter arrived to take their order. However, when the waiter was about to take her date's order away because she was leaving, Lindy decided to stay. The waitress spoke rudely to her date because many of the menu items contained ingredients he was allergic to, and he was trying to make substitutions. Lindy felt the urge to grab the knife on the table, but she resisted once more, pressing the button on her wrist again. When the waitress left, Lindy also excused herself to the restroom. Inside, she overheard the same waitress gossiping about her date on the phone, calling him pathetic for his food choices. Lindy pressed the button on her wrist several times, but it couldn't stop her from attacking the waitress, hitting her head multiple times before leaving the restaurant abruptly. The next day, Lindy went to her therapist. As soon as she walked in, he reached for his gun and handed her a handcuff, instructing her to restrain herself to a chair. Lindy explained that the machine wasn't working properly, but her therapist insisted that she needed to learn self-control while they fixed it. She blamed her lack of control on her high cortisol levels. Her doctor encouraged her to give love a chance, suggesting it might help her condition, but Lindy dismissed the idea. On her way home, a person sitting next to her on the bus kept pushing her, frustrating her. Eventually, she shoved what he was eating into his mouth. Lindy had a part date with the same guy she left hanging in the restaurant, Justin. He thanked her for calling him back and then told her he is an accountant for a man named Barry. She told him that she used to be a bouncer in a club until she got fired. He asked what her passion was, and she told him that she loves photography. Then, they went to her house and started getting intimate. When Justin pulled off her clothes, he saw wires connected to different parts of her chest. Lindy couldn't form words to explain it. Justin reassured her that it wasn't a big deal, and they had sex. The next morning, Lindy woke up to find that Justin had already bought her breakfast and given her a camera as a present. She thanked him, and when he asked about the wires on her chest, she explained that it was treatment for her impulse control. She told him she had tried medication, yoga, and heavy sports, but this was the only thing that worked for her. He said he was okay with it. Lindy wanted him to stay longer, but he said he had work and invited her to his place for dinner instead. Lindy visited her therapist, thanking him for encouraging her to call Justin back. She excitedly shared details about their amazing night, including intimate details. She mentioned she was going to his place in the evening, and he would make fish for her. Although her therapist noted she doesn't like fish, Lindy said she could change for him. The therapist urged her to calm down, as her overhappiness was making him anxious, but she didn't listen and left. She wandered the streets, taking pictures of things she liked with her new camera. Then she went back home to dress up for dinner with Justin. She waited throughout the night, but there was no call or message response from Justin. When she called him the next day, a detective picked up the phone. Detective Vickers and his colleague told her that they found Justin's body by the road with 2 bullets to his head. They explained that it seemed he was involved in some shady business. They didn't let her see his body as she was not his family. Lindy already imagined killing them both, but she controlled herself and pressed the button in her hand. She attended Justin's burial alone, and then she became sad and depressed. She went to see her therapist in rage, attacked him, and told him that the solution he had found for her is dead, and her button was not working. The therapist gave her a sedative and fixed her button. When she woke up, Lindy told her therapist that the police suspected Justin of being involved in shady business, but they weren't taking action. She decided she would find out who killed him herself. Her therapist warned her that she wouldn't get better if she did it, but she had already made up her mind. She called Detective Vickers and told him to come to her place because she had found new evidence. After Vickers left with his colleague, Lindy went to his table, took a document, and the passcode. Then she went to where Justin's belongings were kept, took some of them, and went to his house. While she was checking through his things, Detective Vickers called her. He informed her that they had discovered what she did, which was against the law, and his colleague was on her way to the house to arrest her. However, he offered her the opportunity to come in and explain her actions. When the detective lady entered the house and started shooting, Lindy surrendered. But when she reached for her phone to talk to Vickers, she overpowered her and fled the house. Lindy ran to the garage, used Justin's car key to locate his car, then Vickers called her to find out what was going on. The other detective, Nevin, ran into Vickers' car while he was still on a call with Lindy. Then they heard the sounds of a car and saw her drive past them. They followed her immediately. She got into traffic after a while, then turned, facing their car like she was trying to run into them but swerved away at the last minute, causing them to collide with a truck. She went to a gadget store and asked for a hacker. The hacker helped her hack into Justin's phone, but the phone was empty. Then she found a call that came in from an uncompleted building. She tracked the caller and found out that his name is Barry Kasparsky and he had an FBI record for arms dealing. Lucy paid the girl with Justin's car, then she went to an underground fighting game. She saw Barry sitting on the other side of the room, so she stopped the fight and started questioning the fighters until she got Barry's attention. She asked him about his accountant and if he killed him, but he replied that he didn't. He claimed to know who did it, so she made a deal with him to beat up 3 of his best fighters, and he would tell her who did it. She fought the 3 fighters at the same time, easily beating up 2 of them. The last one pulled her by her hair. Then she pulled his nipple piercing, threw him to the floor, and sat on his neck, hitting his head aggressively to the ground until Barry stopped the fight. Barry took her to his car and told her that he was never a man of his word. Then his driver pointed a gun at her, but she overpowered him and pulled Barry back into the car. She tied him to the open bonnet of his car and threatened to electrocute his balls if he didn't tell her who killed Justin. So, he told her that it was his boss, Gareth Fizzle, and she still electrocuted him. Vickers was admitted to the hospital, and Nevin brought the background check for Lindy. She told him about her anger issues and concluded that she killed Justin, but Vickers thought otherwise. Lindy came to Vickers' room when Nevin left. She thanked him for giving her a heads up about Nevin and told him she found who killed Justin. Vickers told her that the man was a very dangerous man and asked if Justin was worth risking her life for. She replied that he was very nice to her when other people were scared of her. Vickers told her that she could find him in the Empyrean Tower downtown. Then Nevin was behind her with a gun. Lindy pushed her down and ran out. Nevin pursued her, and she eventually ran into an infant care ward to hide. One of the babies started crying, and it was getting on her nerves, but she controlled herself and pressed her shock button and went to pet the baby. Nevin came in pointing a gun at her, so Lindy threw the baby to her and left her to catch the baby while she ran out. Lindy went to the Empyrean Tower and asked for Gareth. Another security guard came and took her into an elevator, then knocked her out from behind. Lindy woke up tied to a chair with her control vest taken off her. She told the security guard that she wanted to see Gareth because he killed his accountant. The security guard threatened her to leave. Guards escorted Lindy to a car and drove off. She was angry in the car and wanted to press her impulse control button, but the security didn't give it back to her. So she begged the driver to stop the car and let her get down, but he did not. Instead, she strangled him until the car ran into a pole. The security guard who seized Lindy's control vest, Delacroix, went into an inner room. He told an old man about Lindy, and the man said he should take care of her. Lindy was in her therapist's office when he came in. She cried to him to help her make another control vest. The therapist asked if she'll stop trying to avenge Justin if he did. Then she replied that she would not, but she would make sure that no innocent person gets hurt alongside. Her therapist gave her food and went to get her another vest. Lindy went to her apartment from her window. She saw that they set a bomb underneath her door, so she took things she needed, turned on her gas and microwave, put a rolled foil in it, and left the room. She went into Vickers' car, and he told her to stop what she was doing and give herself in. He wanted to handcuff her, so she told him about her condition and explained that if she doesn't shock herself, she could do things out of her control. Vickers felt the shock from her chest when she pressed the button. Then he told her that she is a saint for hurting herself so she would not hurt others. There was an explosion in her apartment, and everyone was running around. So she told Vickers that the police and Gareth would think she is dead so she can complete her mission, then she left. Vickers tried to stop her, but she was adamant. She climbed up Gareth's building and she met Delacroix at the top pointing a gun at her. Delacroix took her to the old man, Gareth, and he told her that he killed a lot of people. So her accountant boyfriend might be among them, which made Lindy more angry, and Delacroix knocked her out. When she woke up, she found herself strapped to a chair, and Delacroix started extracting her blood through a machine. Lindy snapped and attacked Delacroix. He hanged her with chains by her neck and punched her in the stomach several times. Lindy freed herself and overpowered Delacroix. She asked him how to get to Gareth and killed him. On her way, guards attacked her, but she fought them all and went to meet Gareth. She used Delacroix's finger that was cut off to access the door, but when she got in, Gareth was already dead. Justin came out clapping. She was surprised that he was still alive. Then he told her that he had always wanted to kill Gareth, but he needed someone that will take the attention from him. So he triggered her against Gareth. He got her information from her therapist because he funds most of his researches. Lindy wanted to attack him, but he was with one of the remote to her control vest. So he started shocking her harder than she does. He told her that she was cheap and easy to get, and the story will be that she died while avenging her boyfriend. After a while of constantly shocking her, it didn't work on her anymore, and she looked him dead in the eye ferociously. Lindy stood up, threw her bag to Justin, and ran into the elevator. Then she pressed a button, and the bag exploded all over the building. Lindy went to meet her therapist. She searched his drawer looking for his gun, then he walked in pointing the gun at her. He apologized and told her he didn't know what Justin wanted from her when he asked about her, but he told her that now that she had discovered how powerful she is, they could do a lot of things together. Lindy overpowered him and held him down with the gun. Then the detectives came in. Vakers thought she was going to shoot the detective, so he shot her in the leg, and her therapist was arrested for practicing medicine without a license. Lindy was admitted to the hospital. Vakers and Nevin wrote her statement that all the crime she committed was self-defense. Varkas gave her her control vest and camera and proposed a dinner date to make up for shooting her. Then she told him she would start afresh and discover herself. Lindy went to her exploded apartment trying to gather anything that was still valuable. Then a lady came inside. She told her that she is special and they could help her channel her rage into useful things because humans are the most powerful weapon. Then she pressed a button to her control vest. Subscribe for more daily videos. Your support, likes, shares, and subscriptions mean a lot. See you in the next video.